the answer.
When you start editing during the shoot, when you do the assembly during the shoot, you kind of have to see if there are things missing or not, but at the same time you know that once they've shot everything, the stuff you're missing or not will be different things. But still you have to plan. In the aim is to have options for the editing. Not too many options, but to have options. Like maybe when you edit after the shoot, you're very happy to do a scene in one shot, or a conversation by just focusing on one person. But when you're during the shoot, you don't really, you try to avoid things like that being forced. So you try to multiply choices for later, both inside the scenes and inside the entire story. I refer to the script all the time. Normally, every time I'm gonna cut a scene, I'm gonna read the scene to know what was in it. Often the idea of a scene is much clearer in the script. So you try to see how it develops in the script, and also if a script is clearly written, it's quite descriptive, so in a sentence you can see the shots and things. So the script is very useful. But on this it's been a bit of a different process, so even though I look at the script, it's been changing, so you have to reassess it in the kind of picture you have of the story at the time, day by day kind of thing. But it's been interesting for that. But it means that at this stage, the last day of the shoot, I don't have a very totally clear picture of the film, which is quite exciting. We talked about the script more several times, but we didn't talk too much about references. But having said that, I'm slightly late on my homework and I have to watch La Ciénaga by Lucrecia Martel, and another film, I did forget the name of it. So I have La Ciénaga and I'm gonna watch it. But at the same time, you know, when you cut, it's like the DOP is more at the origin of the style. Because I cut a lot the way it's shot. I don't really cut against how it's shot. So the design and the DOP and the sound and everything, that guides you. The shoot is more, you follow the shoot a lot. I don't believe too much in changing things completely from what they were meant, from how they were meant to be. But that's personal. Compared to other films that I've done, this film is different in the sense that it's probably less realistic in the treatment of scenes and of the story. And also I've done a lot of handheld, quite shaky camera work films, which don't mean they're not necessarily one-shot camera going everywhere, but there's much more movement. This is very static, which is very interesting and beautiful, but different in terms of the editing. Also, the 2:35 aspect ratio is very difficult, but that's for the cinematographer mainly. So, because you can't really film someone and their actions in the same shot, because it's too narrow. So, the solution would be to deal with more midgets in the shot, or otherwise you need to separate and do more shots. The previous film I did was 4:3, so a square format. On a square format, you tend to have long shots and everything's in it, and it's hard to use close-ups. On this, it tends to ask for close-ups to explain actions because you can't see them, they're off screen. So it's a very beautiful cinematic format. It's also a difficult one to deal with, which I didn't expect.